live. That's TFNN, the Money Masters. And now, your Money Masters, Tom O'Brien and Steve Rhodes.
Welcome, folks. This is Steve Rhodes, Tom O'Brien. We do appreciate you being with us this morning. Market-wise, you get the Dow up 32, Nasdaq's up 9, S&P's off 6. You got gold up 41, bonds are up 5 ticks, dollars up 38. You got a long day today, brother.
No.
Yeah, you're out here growling.
It's a normal day.
Early.
It's a normal day.
It is a normal.
Wake up and, when you do what you love.
Yeah.
I'm
with you.
What might seem like a long day, is actually, hey, you look forward to it.
Crank it up.
Hey, this is cool.
That's right. Well, what's going to be interesting here is that you had, Asia was kind of flat last night.
Yes, absolutely.
Europe was down, but they're coming all the way back. And,
they were up, they were down, they were flat.
Absolutely. And it looks like we're basically building cars to get to higher price here. It's going to be wild,
Yeah, it is. I mean, to talk about, just simply the roller coaster of the volatility over the last couple of weeks, and it's just not stopping.
No, it's huge.
Look at gold. Look at the price swings in gold. Every morning we're on here and gold's either up or down.
That's
40 or 70 or 60.
Exactly. And it's $100 a point, folks. That's in a future market. No, it absolutely is. And yesterday when I had actually emailed Larry because I wanted to know what the limit was in 1980.
Okay.
And it was $50. It was $50 with and then he's telling me on January 20th, right?
Yeah.
That's when it went limit up and limit down.
Yeah.
In the same day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's pretty intense, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then the contracts in the future, they will all lock limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what the difference now is, folks. There's no limit. Okay. So you better get ready for some heavy volatility. Because the bottom line is that there's just no limit.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different animal.
No.
It's better without. I think it's better without a limit because if you get a limit, folks, then you can be locked in. That's if you're on the right side of it, that's good. If you're on the wrong side, it's bad. So it's better not having one. That's my take on it, anyway.
Yeah. And my take is that if you were going to play the metals, whether it's silver or gold right now, with the type of volatility that we have going in, that you really should be playing the futures market versus playing the triples.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. I was talking to someone a couple of days ago, and they were just taking a look at the DZZ, and maybe taking a look at this thing as a long-term thing, and I'm like, man, long-term would be holding that thing over the weekend.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing that. And it's just tough, and so much is taking place between when our markets close.
That's right.
And when it opens back up again,
no, it does.
And on the triples, you're just trapped.
And what does happen is that if folks if they're not used to a lot of people are scared of the futures, which is too bad.
Yeah.
And I understand it, folks. Okay. But what ends up happening is that until you get used to it, until you understand that you are absolutely going to put a stop in, as we're always saying, you shouldn't be playing futures. The difference is that if you do. There's only 2 times during the day, which is only about 15, 20 minutes each time that you can't get out of a position.
Yeah.
So it's a good scene.
Absolutely.
Now, the bad scene is that, you're going to be up in the middle of the night. You're going to be, your wife's going to be saying, well, what are you doing, honey? Well, she doesn't even ask me what I'm doing anymore.
That's right.
I have, what I have? This is pretty funny. I have the way that the kitchen is set up, I can sit here, I can look outside, watch Holly, so I have a spot.
Yeah.
But it's at the kitchen counter.
Yeah.
Right. Versus the office.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Where I basically set up so that no matter what I'm doing, I can glance over and see what's going on.
Absolutely.
I'm lucky my wife's in the business too. Actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And of course, if the market is going down, she just glances over and doesn't ask me. Oh man, I'm telling you.
I love it. So, did you watch any of the debate last night?
I didn't.
No, the debate is right here in the marketplace. What do we want to do?
No.
I just kind of had it on as some background music, if you will.
Right.
And so it was. What I said on my show here, there was you had the facilitators that were, asking questions, and sometimes the questions are basically for folks to pick fights with each other.
Yes.
You said this back then.
Oh, sure, right.
Okay.
Right.
one of the commentators was going after Newt, basically.
Okay.
And he just said, hey, look, you're not gonna get us to start picking fights amongst each other.
Okay.
We've got one mission.
Right.
That one mission is to win the office.
Yes.
I mean, he said something other than that,
sure,
but basically,
sure.
to win the office, and,
right.
and we're not here to pick fights with each other.
Right.
Which I know. I said, that's great.
Right.
To me, that's a sign of leadership.
Yes.
Okay. Not that I'm not here, carrying the sign.
No, I'm with you.
It's just simply, for somebody to be an adult.
Right.
Amongst the entire group,
right.
and say, come on, folks, we got problems here.
Yes.
And the problem is we're not going to solve the problems by trying to pick on each other in some statement, in essence, that might have been said a couple years ago.
Right.
Maybe it was taken out of context. Maybe it wasn't the exact statement.
Sure.
Who knows what it is?
Sure.
But we're here because of real problems.
And
that's cool. It was actually cool.
I heard Tom Friedman this morning. He was on CNBC, right?
Yeah.
And it was dynamite, man. That guy is really bright. And what he's talking about is that what has to take place for us to basically go forward. It's amazing. I mean, what he's saying specifically, folks, is this: is that what you've had in the past, okay, is that we've had the education in the country, we've had the infrastructure in the country, we've had the science in the country,
yeah,
and what we have now is that job-wise, because the world is getting so small, right?
Yes.
That people really don't understand that you better get to work and you better excel at work. You can't be average anymore. And this is what he used, folks.
Well, which is great.
No, which is you're preaching all the time, which is dynamite. And folks, this is really important. This is the example that he gave. He gave the example that there's a college in Iowa, and there's 1,500 people in the college, and that's it, all right? And he said that 10 years ago, right, you wouldn't get people from other countries applying to this college, right?
Okay, yeah.
10% of the applicants this year, okay, were from China, right? Out of that 10%, 11 of them had perfect 800s.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Now, his point was this. His point was, you can sit here and complain all you want, okay, about the world and the integration of the world and whatever. And if you do that, you're dead meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
And what you have to do is that when you come to work, okay, you have to come to work to excel, not to be average. And if you're going to be average in this world, you're done.
Well, you're going to get poor results. You're going to get the bottom of the rung.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, man, because Kernan, he wanted to come at him, and he was having a hard time coming at him because a lot of the things he says is, and he wouldn't get involved in, him, this, that, and all this. But it was really cool because there were, I felt that the views that he were giving out, okay, were solid views, and it was empowering of the people.
Yeah.
It was absolutely empowering of the people versus empowering of organizations.
Yeah.
And it was a great example, man. It really was.
No, absolutely it is. You know, and it is such a small world.
Yeah.
And and really what he's really talking there is that it's a mindset with regard to how it is that you want to deal with change.
That's right.
Because it's really all about change, and you either learn to use change to inspire you to take yourself and learn something new,
right?
And accept, and the problem with change is because all of a sudden, it's like you're putting yourself out there, you're taking risk or what.
Oh yeah.
Right. Okay?
Oh yeah.
And every now and then you're going to get your hand slapped.
Right.
Okay. But but so what?
Right.
I mean, if you've done it with the right intentions,
right.
Then you should always be pushing yourself because not only are you going to be pushing yourself, but you're going to be pushing the people that you're rubbing shoulders with.
Oh yeah, no, big time. Big time.
And so now the cool thing is because the world is so small, if you will, it also just got bigger with regard to the products and services.
Yes.
That we can sell.
Yes, well,
absolutely. And with regard to technology, and even our services.
Oh yeah.
Whether it's our newsletters, whatever tools it is that we might create, our shows.
Right.
There's got to be ways for us to keep making the. We had a call yesterday, and he had to hang up, but from Italy. We get calls from all around the world, or what have you. And that's the cool dynamic.
It's huge. The thing that's really neat, and folks, we want to say hi to everyone in the whole world.
Absolutely.
The thing that is neat, with Google Analytics, right? We know where people are coming in from, folks. And tomorrow, I'll pull it up today. I don't believe there's a country in the world that doesn't listen to us.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of them will only have 1 or 2.
Right.
But it is
Iceland.
It is a mind blowing. No, Iceland we have more than 1 or 2 in Iceland.
Good.
Yeah,
okay,
we actually do, which is just amazing. I mean, you know what's amazing though is that some of these places are so far out. I mean, there's internet everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm talking about far out places, man. It's like, this is just amazing, man.
Yeah. You think, I know that a lot of times people, you think you've got it bad. Okay, I mean, that's, people think, the life is rough or what have you.
Yeah.
Or, we talk about the unemployment issues and everything else. But, the reality is, I think I don't remember the exact statistic, but it's like 73% of the world lives on less than $2 a year.
That's heavy, man.
No,
I do. That's a heavy scene. That's a heavy scene.
Go ahead and put yourself in in
that situation.
Into perspective. But it really is all about, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Right.
And it really is all about growth. It's all about learning something new. And the reality is, especially when you trade these markets, you're going to you're not going to always get the outcome you want.
No.
Okay, I mean but that's life. That's part of trading.
Yeah,
sometimes it's because of a silly mistake that you might have made, something that you overlooked. You had a myopic focus. You were looking for reasons for it, as opposed to just being objective, what have you. But you can always learn from that.
And that's different. And that what does happen. You get a great point here. And that's what happens, folks. If you make a mistake at the beginning of your trading career, well, I'll give you a couple of examples. The beginning of your trading career, if you make a mistake, sometimes you'll correct it, sometimes you won't.
Yes.
Okay. And you'll fight with yourself over it.
Absolutely.
I can tell you though, after I'm not sure I forget whether it's 4 or 5 years or something like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The mistakes that you make then, like if I make a trading mistake, if it's a mistake, I correct it.
Yeah.
Right? That's second though. I don't even, and so you'll get to that point. Do you know what I mean? And what I mean by a mistake, I mean I can hit a button and all of a sudden I bought instead of still. I can still do that. I haven't done it in about a year and a half, but you still do it. Sometimes, I'll look and say, oh my God, hold it. I got 15,000 shares instead of 5,000 shares. You know what I mean? It's like, hold it. I don't think, my leverage, I don't want that, right? So those, if you do make those mistakes, correct them immediately.
Absolutely.
Because then your head is not correct, and your head's always going to be correct.
And it's like, look, I've made mistakes trading currency. A lot of times when I'm trading currency, I've got this platform where, I can go in there and drag my mouse and I can lift up the stop. So, so I can actually just keep moving my trailing stops up. Well, every now and then, I don't know about you and using your mice on your computer, what have you, but sometimes you just really screw up. And I'll be in a trade, where I bought way down at the bottom, and all of a sudden I've just taken myself out.
Right.
And I took myself out at a nice profit.
Yeah.
But, what I learned...
I still do that. I know, man.
But I learned, folks, is just go back in.
No,
go back in. It is.
That is wicked, man. But it's good. It's good.
I know.
You stay there right there, folks. This is Steve Rhodes, Tom O'Brien. We get the Dow down 14. Nasdaq's up 1. S&Ps are, down 4. We're going up, folks. We're going to be right back.
X-Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex-listed company trading under the symbol XG, is slated to be the newest gold-silver producer in Argentina. X-Story is forecast to produce more than $250 million in bullion annually, beginning in 2013, at a cash cost of less than $200 for each ounce of gold produced. That forecast will make X-Story one of the highest margin operators in South America and a sector leader in the mining industry. X-Story has $50 million in its treasury, having spent over $60 million to date on drilling and engineering. The ultimate size of its Argentina discovery could be determined by year-end, as results from the 6 drills operating at the site are fully assessed. To find out more about X-Story Gold Mines and their exciting growth potential, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex under the symbol XG.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today. Click Investments and Newsletters and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Is the fast-moving investment world challenging the way you think about managing risk and return? You don't have to go it alone. Directions Alternative Strategy Funds feature built-in tactical management to help you find clarity for the path ahead. Direction Funds. I'm with X. To learn more about Directions Alternative Strategy Funds, please visit tfnn.com and click on the Direction Funds banner or call 877-434-9363. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus contains this and other information about Direction Funds. The prospectus should be read carefully before investing. To obtain a prospectus, go to directionfunds.com. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. The use of leverage by a mutual fund increases the risk to the fund. The more a fund invests in leverage instruments, the more leverage will magnify gains or losses on those investments. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC. For some extra cash to help pay off some of your bills? Let Tiger Metal Exchange convert your unwanted jewelry to cash. We pay out 80% of the market price for gold. Our payouts are the highest in the industry, more than double our largest competitors. And we've created the safest, easiest, and most straightforward process for converting your jewelry to cash. Log on to TigerMetalExchange.com and get your free scale, your free eye loop, and get the cash you deserve now. We provide a free online calculator that converts your jewelry to cash at up-to-the-minute spot prices. We insure your items for up to $75,000 per shipment free of charge. We videotape the entire valuation process so that you can view it online. You can call us toll-free at 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. Let Tiger Metal Exchange put more cash in your pocket without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Join the list of thousands of satisfied customers and go to TigerMetalExchange.com. It's the only click you need to make.
TFNN introduces Tiger TV. Tiger TV brings you video content to help you succeed in the financial markets and beyond. Investors and traders can get in-depth information, news, commentary, and education for investing and trading equities, options, commodities, forex, futures, and more. Just go to TFNN.com and click Tiger TV and select your favorite channel from the carousel on the left. Grab a popcorn and get ready for Tiger TV, a great new service from TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. This is Steve Rhodes, Tom O'Brien. We do appreciate you being with us. And don't forget, folks, at TFNN, we broadcast Monday. Well, we broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, folks. Live broadcasting is, we start Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then 3 to 6. It's all live. We replay that during the day, and we're going to be building out the rest of that. And we'll make sure that we're going to be going 9 to 6. It'll probably take us a few more months, folks, but we are going to get there. Market-wise, it's getting kind of interesting here, right?
Yeah. I was actually just counting since August 17th. I don't know how many trading days, maybe 10, 11 trading days. We've had 5 gaps on the SPYs.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. I mean, see, okay, so gaps, folks, okay? When you gap up and gap down, it says you're in the trading range. That's the range you're in.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to get interesting here is that the top of that range right now is the 1230.
Right.
The way that it's setting up, and this is just deviant enough, is that I suspect we're going to go bust through that area. Mm-hmm. And we're just looking at it. And, folks, so watch how this works, okay? If you bust through that area, you can get to 1250, 1258 pretty easy, right?
Yes.
This is where the deviance is going to come in. The folks that, if they, when you get over 50-day or 200-day moving average.
Bless you.
Oh, excuse me. No. The bulls will get all excited. Yeah. Well, 1246 is the 50-day.
Yeah.
And that'll just be perfect. And what I mean by perfect, of course, is that selling it up at the as soon as it gets over.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, we'll see where it shakes out. But it's pretty weird that the 1246 is up there. We'll see whether it can get up there. And that's just deviant enough to get the whole thing going.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it looks like we're gonna, right now we're making higher lows.
Yeah, exactly.
We're making higher lows. And this move here will tell us if we're going to make another higher high.
That's right.
Just in this little trading range area.
Exactly.
Just to set up another, Gartley sell pattern, which would be great.
Yeah, well, that's going to be set up a sell.
Yeah,
well,
so you got a Gartley sell that completes right at the bottom of the March 16th swing point.
That's sick.
And, and you've got a little bit larger one that's just a little bit higher, which would really be nice.
Good old Gartley, man.
Absolutely.
Good old Larry Pesavento.
That's right, Harold Gartley.
Yeah, totally.
For sure.
Man.
Now, yesterday, were you surprised by the volume that you didn't see in the marketplace coming back from? Or,
no, I wasn't expecting it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was expecting a higher price without the volume.
Yeah.
And right now, what is interesting is that because the swing is at it's such low volume.
Yeah.
I really expect that we probably will get higher volume at that swing, and that'll be another part that would just be deviant enough.
Yeah.
But because we're going against something that's so dramatic on the way down, it looks to me like that will be the bigger context, because the bigger context is that how we came down versus how we come back up versus that swing point. I mean, the easiest sell would be if it takes the swing point out with lighter volume, we still get the Gartley. Then
right.
Absolutely. Then we get a Tiger Gartley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we get a Tiger Gartley.
Yeah.
Then we're going to mortgage all the houses, folks. No doubt. No doubt.
So you're going to watch the speech tonight?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I am.
What time?
7 o'clock, I believe.
Is it? Oh, that's right. That's right, because you got to get in before the football game.
That's right. That's right. That's like football, man. Football's back. That's a beautiful thing.
You got to make sure that our priorities are right in this country, right?
Yeah. Big time.
Football preempts the president.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. That's for sure. And what's amazing is that I heard Kraft this morning. The NFL claims that they have 200 million fans. 200 million. That's pretty. That's pushing it, man.
Yeah.
We only have 100 million.
Soon we'll have 200. We'll have 150 million by next week.
I'm telling you, man.
Hey, if we got folks really that we're telling people to watch our show or what have you, just one person. We need the power of compounding in a short period of time would be so huge, so amazing.
And folks, if you like the show, please tell 3 people, because we really do appreciate it, and you're doing your job out there. And that's the bottom line. And because we are growing dramatically, which is a beautiful thing. Yeah, and it's so cool to get emails. Like I don't know what time I was up. The first email I looked at may have been about 3 or 4 in the morning. It was from a relatively new subscriber. Had only subscribed to my services for a couple of weeks. A cardiologist. Yeah. And he said, he said he's loving the service. He's loving the video aspect, the interaction that we have. And he just said, hey, I've made enough money in a couple weeks to pay for 10 years of your service. Exactly. This is good. And folks, what happens there is that's when, it's always crucial to have your money management in place. The way that the market works is that the market seems to push huge amounts of money in short amounts of time. Yeah. That's what trade is. That's been my history anyway. And the real key is making sure the money management is correct, because if it is, end of the year, you're going to be fine. And, it's just like right now. I mean, you're in a highly volatile period. Could be here for a year. Well, you got to take advantage of it. Forget sleep, folks. You know what I mean? Well, you get some sleep, but you don't need a lot of sleep. Power naps. That's all you need. In fact, you know what ends up happening, folks? If you're into this, you're going to get less sleep, and you're going to be happier anyway. That's right. That's right. We're going to be right back, folks.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups in equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this trader's market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com, under newsletter, hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading the gold market. If you're an investor in gold or any of the gold mining equities, This newsletter is an essential tool that can help you become a better trader in the gold market. The Gold Report comes out every Monday with complete coverage of the entire gold market, including the XAU, HUI, the dollar, the bond, the rand, more than 40 different mining equities, as well as some of the most popular precious metal ETFs, including the GDX and the SLV. For as low as $75 per month, you can gain access to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report that will help you take advantage of investment opportunities at the current historic gold price levels. To order your Gold Report today with a free 30-day trial subscription, log on to tfnn.com or call our office directly at 877-518-9190.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower your volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angelo O'Brien, financial advisor and certified financial planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SIPC.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio, therefore we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We have the Dow up 18, Nasdaq up 10, S&P's up 1. And, you know, you hear that Great Panther Silver this afternoon on my show at 5:40 Eastern Time.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to have Bob Archer on, folks. He's the CEO, so he's going to walk us through what's happening at Great Panther Silver. So that'll be fun.
Cool. You know, we talk about sacred geometry a lot.
Yes.
Okay, and, you know, we're talking about H.M. Gartley, and, you know, thank God for, you know, Larry and Gartley or what have you.
Yes.
But folks, really, it's also, you know, thank God for this guy right here, okay, Tom O'Brien. No, because, you know, he taught us, okay, he taught us about a move of a move. And I don't know if you got that anyplace else, but...
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't, right.
All right, so, you know, so... Just as important as all those other things are when you're trading is understanding the power of the move of a move. And so what I want to take it to right now is I'm looking at the U.S. dollar. I'm looking at the dollar index, okay? The futures contract. Now, and I've got a 120-minute chart up on my screen, so hopefully you're following along with us on Tiger TV. Just got to go to Tiger TV Channel 1. You can see this show, and it's also archived. Now, on July 18th at 12:20 in the afternoon, the high on the 120-minute chart was $76.11. If you go all the way over to the high that we came back to and made on September 6th at 4:20 in the afternoon, $76.11. Hit that.
That's wild.
Move of the move and backed off.
Right.
Absolutely. You know, and you can, if you look at even if you're looking at this chart at the bottom, you can see how, you know, we made a low, okay, we bounced up, we do a retracement, we come back, we get to that move of the move, it does something else, comes back down here, tests it, you know, whether it's triple bottom, whether it's double, but, you know, just simply looking with inside swing points, you know, it's really powerful.
It's amazing. It's amazing that that's where the information gets released, and it's just up to us to keep our ears open and say, you know, and it will tell you, you know, we can all, I mean, I speculate every day which way everything wants to go, okay? But the reality is that at those swing points, that's where it releases the information. And at that point, then I don't feel like I'm speculating anymore. I don't. Once it's open, it's like, okay, that's it. Doesn't mean you put your stops in, but at that point, it's like, okay, it did it, man. It did it or it didn't do it. And that's what I like about it.
And it's amazing how it works.
Yeah, it is amazing.
It's just...
particularly with
any time frame, any chart, anything.
And you know what's crazy, folks? Now, if you're dealing with something that is $5, $10, and all that, great, and you hit it to the penny, that's one thing. But when you're dealing with something that's $170, like yesterday, right? Well, it's like, how does that happen? And you don't know. I mean, that's the reality. But you know that it has something to do with mathematics, and it has something to do with geometry. It absolutely does. And I just, And so, life's a mystery to be lived, not a problem to be solved.
It is. Yeah. It is always intriguing. It's always pretty cool when we do these things, and like it hits it to the penny, and you're just always like, right? Even every time I shake my head just a little bit. Now I don't. When we trade, we don't trade to the penny. We're not looking. Right. We're looking to make some information as we're coming into the range, into the zone, or what have you. And just have a wide enough stop. But every time that it does do that.
I know.
And I didn't know it till, I knew I wanted to point it out. I remember I was taking a look at the chart last night or something, and I remember I said, I want to come back and show move of the move. Okay. And it wasn't until we were on break and I was going back and I was saying, well, okay, let me show them the exact swing points, and I saw it, exactly to the penny, like, oh my God.
Now, you're not only doing 3 hours this morning, but then you're doing a webinar for your clients this afternoon.
Doing a webcast this afternoon.
Okay, in the webcast, what are you doing in the webcast now?
Well, it's called Celestial Charting, but there's just really not a lot of activity that is going on right now within the next week or so. We've got a new full moon that's coming in on Monday.
Okay.
And depending on, it looks to me like the markets want to move higher. Typically, we would buy a full moon as the market's moving down into it. Okay. And right now, it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. So we'll take a look at that. But no real astro events. We're going to focus on today, quite frankly, is Harold Gartley.
Oh,
we're going to focus on, because what we've got that's really setting up for us right now are these Gartley patterns. So, and I want to be able to teach folks about that. I want them done. And I really like folks to understand how it is that we're trading, because sometimes I'll send out a chart or what have you, and we're looking at maybe the ES mini contract, or maybe it's something on the SPYs. But I know that all of our traders are so experienced. Maybe they're going to trade the double or the triple or what have you, so they can make their own move, and they can understand what it is that we're looking at. So we're going to look at that.
And listen, folks, don't forget, you can test drive Steve's newsletter. It's a 30-day money-back guarantee, folks. And you only get the newsletter, folks, you'll be getting a huge education. Absolutely. You stay right there. We'll come right back.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today. Click Investments Newsletters and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Studies show that 10,000 hours is what it takes to achieve outstanding results, unless you use the power of leverage. The power of leverage, folks, is key to attaining outstanding success in your trading and investing. I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of the Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, and author of Mastering Probability, a daily trading and investment newsletter. Let me take your trading to a new level, a whole new level. Let me teach you the secrets that the real Money Masters use each and every day to produce consistent financial results. On top of that, I'll transform your life in ways you never thought imaginable. You'll overcome hurdles like an Olympian. Here's the beauty. I'm so certain that I'll transform your life. I'm giving you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Time, folks. Something you'll never get back. The time is now to take action. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and order Mastering Probability. It'll change your life forever. At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650, but you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
And very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
TFNN introduces Tiger TV. Tiger TV brings you video content to help you succeed in the financial markets and beyond. Investors and traders can get in-depth information, news, commentary, and education for investing and trading equities, options, commodities, forex, futures, and more. Just go to TFNN.com and click Tiger TV and select your favorite channel from the carousel on the left. Grab a popcorn and get ready for Tiger TV, a great new service from TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We have the Dow up 25 right now. Nasdaq's up 10. S&Ps are up 1. You got gold up 34. Bonds are down 4 ticks. Dollar index is up 22. And bottom line is that we got trader's paradise out here, man.
We do.
Up, down, and all around. And all you need, folks, is volatility and price spreads. And the price spreads are certainly out here, and they're out here in a huge way. There's no doubt about it. Pretty amazing, actually.
I've got the IBM chart up. I know Rick calls often about, has been taking a look at that.
Yes.
And, it's a nice looking chart because, at the highs, you had a gap up. And you had some decent volume in it, for that day, 13 million shares. Now,
right.
So we came off and, we're in these lows here. But, when this thing, this retracement that it just recently did was only a 618 retracement.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got a potential, and you're talking about the swing point that it's got to clear. In this case here, IBM, August 31st, they're all going to have to clear that same swing point. But you've only got 6 million shares up there.
Exactly.
It absolutely can. It doesn't have to clear by a ton.
No,
we're not. In fact, we don't want to see real power going through there.
No,
necessarily. At least on the short side of the trade.
Because we have claws.
That's right.
Bears.
That's right.
No horns.
No, right now, guys, my horns are out. I've got those retractable horns.
I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey, you know what, folks? If you remember, Angie had stole my bear.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
right.
One of my aunts had given me this beautiful bear. Angie stole it, and it's really sick. So her and her girlfriend were in Santa Fe 2 weekends ago, and what ended up happening is that she needed an address, right? So she calls me up, and she says, "Honey, will you go in my drawer? Pull this out." So I'm pulling it out. I'm on the floor. He says, "There's my bear," right? So, needless to say, right, my bear is back on my desk. So let me tell you something. You bulls better watch out. Because I put it back on the desk. So Angie comes in the office 2 days ago. She says, "Oh, here's the bear." I says, "Yeah, you got it."
Yeah, that's why during the first show that I did, I gave folks, and because we've got so many listeners that really don't necessarily trade the market. They just want to know what's going on, want to know what's going on with their investments, and so I gave them the bottom of the low on the NYSE and on a weekly basis the hammer. So I gave them that number and also the DAX because we made that 3 drive to it and a 618 and said, look, folks, so that you don't repeat, history can repeat itself if you let it. And I said if we get a close, not sure which one of those two. Certainly the NYSE closes below that. I said just go to cash immediately.
Exactly.
Just go to cash.
Exactly.
In your 401k accounts, your retirement plan accounts. Just go to cash, and and maybe we'll get a different signal, or maybe we'll get an early signal. With the DAX or what have you.
That's right.
If it breaks through that area, and there's where you're going to have some real caution.
Big time, because folks. The A to B portion on this is a monster.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're talking 300 points. You're talking 200 it's 220 points or something.
Yeah.
So it's big numbers, man.
Yeah.
And woman. Okay. And don't put yourself in harm's way. That's the real bottom line. So, and it's going to have to do. I think what you're going to on a fundamental basis, it's going to have to do with the strength in the dollar. The strength in the dollar is going to whip the large.
Yes.
International companies, it's going to just make mincemeat out of them in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, no question. And the reason is because, look, the last time that we did that was during the month of September 2008.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we
remember the dollar went to the moon. You know.
Yeah, that's right. We broke through that, and when we broke through that, it was a good night. You didn't see the lows until March of '09.
Well,
and it was a big move down. Big move down.
And what gets interesting here, folks, is this: is that and sometimes the correlations. What gets interesting here, particularly Steve and I were both in the gold market too, and what I've seen is that unfortunately people don't understand some of the actual fundamental basis of the gold market, because I got a call yesterday, and what it was is that it was about the Swiss franc, and that the gentleman was thinking that no, maybe the Swiss want to buy more gold. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that last night, and the best example I could give is this, because is that if in fact that was the case, and this is important to understand, folks, the last thing they would do is devalue the currency. See, because when the currency was strong, well, they could buy as much gold as they wanted.
Right.
Because they have the strongest currency in the world.
Absolutely.
It's just the opposite, because banks hate gold. They absolutely hate it. And and you're not going to be seeing them, say, I want anything backed in gold, because it's a corrupt system.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's
no, it's true. Look, I just if you consider the math on, if you had a strong currency, if you're in a country with a strong currency,
right.
Okay, so whether it's in Japan, Swiss, or what have you, and you went ahead and you bought property in the United States.
Oh,
right?
That's the name of the game,
right? So you're taking a strong currency,
right?
That, like in the case of the yen, I think they're not going to let that continue to just get stronger and stronger. So you're pretty much near its
and they can cap it. They can turn around and
that's right. So if you took that and you knew long term, because real estate, people are looking for long term investment. It's real estate,
right?
It's not any one specific stock that we're going to recommend, or anything. And so if you took that strong yen and you bought a nice piece of property, whether it's commercial or residential, doesn't really matter, right? And you know that you're going to get appreciation. You want to buy a nicer piece of property.
Right.
You're going to get normal appreciation as things come back in the U.S. over the next 5 years, let's say, or what have you.
Absolutely.
And you're going to get a weaker currency. You're going to get more of your... I mean, when you talk about the type of return that you could get when you have a strong currency...
It's insane.
And that's what, you're talking about. That there is going to be this mindset where the strong currency is a good thing.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And so I think
because when the dollar gets strong, folks, we can buy our retirement, in maybe Argentina.
No, well, true.
That
used to be that way. We had a strong currency, and people were buying properties in Spain or what have you.
Oh yeah,
right? Okay, Mallorca. And you were going, and you're going over there, and you're like, this is great. I got the strong currency.
Yeah, totally.
Nice piece of property. The cost of living was pretty cheap down there. You could live like a king.
Huge. Hey, I heard you talking about, is it Lanai?
Yeah, Lanai.
So Lanai's a private island, right?
Well, it's not private. Well, Murdoch owns like about 98% of it.
Murdoch, the same guy that owns
Dole Pineapple. No, Dole Pineapple guy.
Okay, so that's a different Murdoch.
Different Murdoch, not Rupert Murdoch, but I forget his
Dole
first name.
Pineapple. Okay.
And Lanai used to be their big plantation for pineapples. Now most of it probably comes in from Brazil, Ecuador, wherever it might come in from. But because he owns so much of the island, he started to create some resorts. He's got one up at the top, and it's almost like you're in winter. You're not even on. The weather temperatures are huge, wild swings, even in the middle of summer.
Really?
Yeah, you need sweatshirts and maybe a park or some.
Wow.
Because downstairs, it's at 80s. You go upstairs at night and you're freezing.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You stay right there, folks. This is Steve Rhodes, Tom O'Brien. We get the Dow up 8, Nasdaq's up 8, S&P's a flat. We're going to be right back.
If you're in the market for a jumbo preferred non-conforming loan anywhere from $417,000 all the way up to $3 million, and you have a FICO of at least 720, then Everbank is your answer. As a direct lender with processing, underwriting, and funding all under one roof, Everbank can offer the most competitive rates, greater efficiency, and shorter closing times. Now is the time to act. Everbank offers fixed terms of 10 and 15 years, as well as adjustable terms of 5, 7, and 10 years, including interest-only options on primary residences. For more information, call Everbank today at 877-471-5970 to talk with a member of their concierge team that will walk you through the variety of loans they offer. That's 877-471-5970, and let them know you heard this offer on TFNN. Everbank, 877-471-5970, 877-471-5970.
Looking for some extra cash to help pay off some of your bills? Let Tiger Metal Exchange convert your unwanted jewelry to cash. We pay out 80% of the market price for gold. Our payouts are the highest in the industry, more than double our largest competitors. And we've created the safest, easiest, and most straightforward process for converting your jewelry to cash. Log on to TigerMetalExchange.com and get your free scale, your free eye loop, and get the cash you deserve now. We provide a free online calculator that converts your jewelry to cash at up-to-the-minute spot prices. We insure your items for up to $75,000 per shipment free of charge. We videotape the entire valuation process so that you can view it online. You can call us toll-free at 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. Let Tiger Metal Exchange put more cash in your pocket without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Join the list of thousands of satisfied customers and go to TigerMetalExchange.com. It's the only click you need to make.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio, therefore we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today. Great Basin Gold is a mining company engaged in the exploration and development of 2 emerging gold properties in Nevada and South Africa with a total resource base of more than 23 million gold ounces. Great Basin Burnstone Mine in South Africa opened in February of this year with a resource of 20 million gold ounces, becoming the first mine to open in the historic Witwatersrand Basin in the last 30 years. The Burnstone Mine is projected to have a 25-year mine life and is fully financed with production anticipated to be over 250,000 ounces per year at a cash cost of only $450 per ounce. The Hollister Mine in Nevada became fully integrated in the 4th quarter of 2010 with annual production estimates of 110,000 ounces of gold per year over the 8-year mine life at a cash cost of only $527 per ounce. Great Basin Gold is cash flow positive and trades on the Toronto and New York stock exchanges under the symbol GBG.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. My new book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, is for sale at Amazon.com for only $18.40.
Welcome back, folks. And folks, don't forget that you can test drive Steve's newsletter, and it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go out there, test drive it right now. You get his webinar this afternoon.
Absolutely.
And,
I'll teach you something.
Yeah, well, we know it's so great. And if you haven't seen how he does this with the videos, folks, it's absolutely incredible because what does happen is that it's one thing getting in and out of the trades, but I absolutely understand is that when you are a newsletter writer, if the client understands the thought process behind it, okay, everyone does better.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Because then they'll decide, whether do you want this trade or not want this trade. And that makes a huge difference, folks.
No, for sure.
It absolutely does.
For sure. Like I was telling you, over the weekend, over the long holiday weekend, I didn't get in on the short trade, like you did.
Yes.
And I went back and took a look at, what mistake I made there. Okay, what other signal I could have picked up on?
Well, it's not necessarily a mistake.
No. I don't use that word in a
right.
I don't necessarily use that word in a I just what else could I learn from from that decision process or what have you? And it was kind of short lived.
Yes.
Nice volume and everything.
Yeah.
Or price move on the way down. But anyway, was looking at because we had so much pressure on the markets, and then with us being closed on Monday, and all the pressures overseas. But everything I was looking at was, I look at these charts. I really try to come in there without a bias. Just take a look at the chart and say, what's the chart telling me?
Right.
And went through each of the sectors and was saying, okay, 7 of the 9 were consolidation pattern for sure.
Right.
2 of them we had some pretty nice moves in. In fact, we had a retracement. I was like, well, this is strong.
Right.
I'll go ahead and take this. And so, everything I was looking at was like, long trades.
Right. Right.
Even though we had subscribed. And so, you know, what's nice about the video piece of it was I was able to have 17 pages, if you will, but be able to go through each page and say, okay, here's what I'm looking at and why.
Exactly.
Now, here's all the work, as opposed,
which is just dynamite. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, you know, and it makes it actually, it makes it easier for me because to try to actually write all that out and make sure I get that component across.
No, the clarity is huge.
Yeah, so it's actually, it's pretty cool, and it's fun to wake up early in the morning and, you know, and just send something out. And many times I'm sending stuff out, you know, well before the markets are going to start trading.
Right.
And so it's always cool is when it actually, you know, what you envision.
When it happens. No,
yeah, and you're kind of like, that's cool. That's
because, folks,
cool.
what you have is that, you know, as we're going through these markets, the markets are in harmony.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you look at these markets now versus 20 years ago, okay, you didn't have the tools. You couldn't be overseas in 2 seconds to watch everything happen. And, in fact, if you look at the 87 crash, folks, what happened with the 87 crash, the only people that got out that were smart enough were some traders that saw it happening overseas, and what they did specifically is that they were in work, and because I know I had my offices in State Street, they were pushing stock out before we opened.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the normal retail client couldn't do that. Now you can do it. I mean, so it's amazing, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And that was a huge advantage, okay, that those traders had. You know?
Yeah, and really what I think is that, you know, and why it's so important for us and really for our children and to be able to teach our children, because, you know, the reality is we want their world to be better.
Sure.
You know, than what we had. You know, our life is better than our parents, and it should continue to be like that. And what's really happened here is we've created this new industry.
Oh, yeah.
There really is this money management industry that could be so empowering.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
And that's really where you know, when you know, like I said, you know, shared with you that email that I got last night.
Yes.
You know, when we just know, because we put so much effort behind this, you know, not only effort, look at all the money that he puts behind everything that we've got here. But when you actually see somebody that you've actually helped, and it empowers us to want to do more, which is, you know, which is kind of, it's hard to, the energy level that we look at, it's almost kind of hard to believe people say you want to do more.
No,
like,
no.
Absolutely, yeah. If you only know what he was doing at 2 in the morning.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, folks, we'll give you a clue. You know what's wild, folks? Is this what ends up happening? Whether you sleep a lot or not now, you know, the bottom line is, once you really understand this, you're going to need less sleep. Okay, you'll get plenty of it, but you have less sleep, you have a better quality of life. You stay right there.
I want sleep when they're shoveling dirt in my face. That's it.
Steve's going to be coming right back with you, folks. Thanks so much.
Yeah.